everybody, my name's Steve and I'm the British Railroader. For a bit of a change, I've decided to take a look at a specific locomotive. So I want to talk to you about the locomotive that probably did more to save passenger railroading in the USA than any other. That locomotive is of course the EMD F40PH and its variants. I'm going to take a look at the history of this locomotive and discuss why it's drawn me into its fan club. Before I begin, I'd like to thank the following people who have kindly shared photos and videos of F40s with me to use in this presentation. Firstly, go to Andy Blenko, my dear friend from Pennsylvania, and then Andy Knott, my good friend who I keep bumping into at model railway shows. Finally, we have Bill Wilcox and DeWitt Yard, both of whom are friends from Facebook. Thanks to all of you for your kind help and permission to use your material in this video. For me, growing up in the 1980s, the Amtrak F40 was synonymous with passenger trains in the USA. You would see it on the TV and in movies where it would be at the head of long trains of double-deck coaches speeding through the desert or across mountains. It was completely unlike anything we could see over here in the UK at the time. As I became more interested in North American railways, I soon realised that this loco was more than just Amtrak's primary source of motive power. It could be found at the head of commuter trains all across the country in cities like Chicago, Boston, New York, San Francisco, LA and many others. They could also be found in Canada and were used by Via Rail on their premier cross-country routes. What a lot of people don't know is that the F40 was never meant to be a long-distance hauler. It was originally intended just for short and medium-distance trains. But due to various mechanical problems with some of Amtrak's early purchases, it ended up getting roped into working all trains across the nation and did so until the end of the 21st century. Based on the EMD GP40-2, the F40 has a power output of between 3,000 and 3,200 horsepower and has a top speed of 103 to 110 miles an hour, depending on which variant it is. It has a head-end power generator to supply hotel power to the train. This was originally powered via the prime mover, which had to produce a constant RPM even when idle, earning them the nickname of Screamers. There have been many variants and rebuilds over the years, including the Metra F40PHM-2, which are locally known as Winnebagos for obvious reasons. Many transit agencies modified their F40s to include separate HEP generators. Some were built new using EMD components and some were rebuilt incorporating new control systems and uprated prime movers. After retirement from Amtrak, a number of F40s were rebuilt into non-powered control units, having their prime movers, traction motors and alternators removed and having large roll-up doors added to each side. These have been nicknamed cabbages, a mashup of cab car and baggage. In model form, the F40 has been around for almost as long as the loco itself. Early models were made by Lifelike in HO scale, and I have one here from Bachmann that I picked up in 1989 after my first trip to the USA. Other HO scale models have been produced by Bachmann Spectrum, Walthers and Rapido, who have also made the cabbage. I also have one of the Kato F40s in HO scale in the Phase 3 colour scheme. I will eventually be fitting sound to her and at some point upgrading the lights. The F40 has also been made in other scales, including N scale as seen here by Kato, and more impressively O scale as seen here from Atlas/MTH. At one point I actually thought this was the real loco rather than a model. As most of you know, I love passenger trains, especially those that you find in the USA. There have been a plethora of iconic passenger locomotives over the years, from the EMD E&F units to the Alco PAs and the GU Genesis series. But I've always come back to the F40. It shouts American passenger train to me. It also happens to be of about the same vintage as I am and was in its prime just when I became a model railroader. Whilst they are now retired from Amtrak, they still see intensive daily use of railroads across North America and look set to do so for many years to come. Whilst the GP38-2 still occupies the top spot of my list of favourite US locos, the F40 is a close number 2 and is without doubt my favourite North American passenger locomotive. I for one will definitely be on the lookout for them when I'm next in the States. Thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments below, And if you have any questions, please leave a message below or feel free to drop me an email at the address right here. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and when the bell appears, hit it and click all and you will be notified of all of my content as it comes out. But that's it for today. My name is Steve, I'm the British Railroader, and I'm saying goodbye from my model railroad room. Bye bye.